Dear students, now we are going to learn a new chapter in biozoology, organ and organ systems in animals. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the structural organization of earthworm, cockroach and frog. There are a variety of living organisms on this biosphere and they range from the microbes to blue whale. They differ in size and shape. Now here in this video we will learn about the morphology and anatomy of organisms such as earthworm, cockroach and frog. What is this morphology? Morphology refers to the study of forms, their external visible features. So when we learn about the external visible feature of an organism, it is called as morphology. And what is anatomy? Study of the internal organs of an organism. Anatomy refers to the study of internal organs of an organism. Now we shall learn about earthworm first. Earthworm, Lampito mauritii. Classification of earthworm. Earthworm belongs to the phylum Annelida because their body is segmented. It belongs to the class Oligochaeta, order Haplotaxida, genus name Lampito and species name mauritii. Earthworms are terrestrial, they are land invertebrates. They live in the upper layer of the moist soil, which is rich in the decaying organic matter. Earthworms are active during night time and so they are nocturnal. During daytime they live in the burrows. They make the burrows in the soil and they live in the burrows during the daytime. They swallow this garden soil and leave out their worm cast in the garden soil. So this can be traced when we look into the garden soil closely. Because they enrich the garden soil with their fecal matter, fecal deposit, these earthworms are considered as the farmer's friend. And their fecal deposit in the garden soil is called as worm cast. Common Indian earthworms are Lampito mauritii, Megascolex, Perionyx excavates and Metaphyr posthuma. Earthworms are classified based on their ecological strategies. That means in which area they occupy in the soil. They are classified into epigeics. Epigeics term came from the Greek, which means up on the earth. These earthworms, epigeic earthworms, they are surface dwellers and they occupy the upper surface of the earth. Example for this is Perionyx excavatus and Eurydilis eugeniae. The next one is called Anisix. Anisix in Greek means out of the earth. These earthworms are found on the upper layers of the soil. Example Lampito mauritii, Lumbricus terrestris. The third type is called endogeics. This word means within the earth. That means they are found in the deeper layers of the soil. Example Octochetona thurstoni. Lampito mauritii commonly found in Tamil Nadu and their body is long, it is cylindrical, narrow and it is bilaterally symmetrical. And it measures about in length 80 to 210 millimeter and 3.5 to 5 millimeter in diameter. The color of the earthworm is light brown color and it will have purplish tinge in the anterior end of its body. The color of earthworm is mainly due to the presence of the porphyrin pigment in their epidermis. The body is segmented and it is encircled by large number of grooves, and these grooves only divide the body into a number of compartments which are called as segments or metameres. The number of segments ranges from 165 to 190. On the body surface, it is marked by the mid-dorsal line. The body surface is marked by the mid-dorsal line. It has the dorsal blood vessel on the longitudinal axis of the body. Ventral surface, it has a genital opening. Mouth is found in the center of the first segment, which is called as peristomium. And above that peristomium we have the prostomium, like a small flap which makes the upper lip. In the last segment it has the anus, and the segment is called as pygidium. In the mature earthworm's body, the segments from 14 to 17, they are found swollen with glandular thickening of the skin, and it is called as clitellum. And this clitellum region helps in the formation of the cocoon. Due to the presence of the clitellum in the body of the earthworm body can be divided into three regions. They are preclitellar region, which is from the segment 1st to 13, clitellar region from the segment 14 to 17, and postclitellar region, which is after 17th segment. In all the segments of the body except in the first segment, last segment and the clitellum, they have the ring of chitinous body called setae, and these setae, they are fixed in the setigerous sacs of the skin, and these setae are curved and it takes a shape of S. Setae can be protruded or retracted, and it plays an important role in the locomotion. The external apertures are nothing but openings. They are the mouth, anus, dorsal pore, spermatical opening, genital opening, and nephridiophores. The dorsal pores are present on the 10th segment onwards on the dorsal side of the body. And the coelomic fluid will communicate to the exterior through these dorsal pores, and it helps to keep the body surface moist, and they also keep the animal free from the harmful microorganism. They also prevent the damage during their burrowing movement. There are three pairs of spermatical opening present on the ventrolateral apertures. So these are the spermatical opening. These openings are present intersegmentally in between the segments 6 and 7, 7 and 8, and 8 and 9. The female genital aperture lies on the ventral side of the 14th segment, and a pair of male genital apertures are situated in the lateroventral region of the 18th segment. Nephridiophores are also numerous in number, and they are found throughout the body of the earthworm except few anterior segments. Through these nephridiophores, they leave out their metabolic waste. They eliminate their metabolic waste. The longest species of the earthworm is called Microchetus rapi, which is an African giant earthworm. It measures about 6.7 meters, that is 22 feet. And Ravida nilambrensis, which is a South Indian species of earthworm present in Kerala, it measures about 1 meter, that is 3 feet. Now let us learn the anatomy of earthworm. This is the cross section of the earthworm's body. The outermost layer is cuticle, inner to that is epidermis, inner to that is the circular muscles, then the longitudinal muscles. The body wall of the earthworm is very moist, thin, soft, skinny and elastic, and it consists of the outermost layer, cuticle. Cuticle covers the body wall from externally, and it is thin, non-cellular layer secreted by the epidermis. Inner to the cuticle is the epidermis. This consists of a single layer of columnar cells. It is made up of gland cells, supporting cells, basal cells and sensory cells. A spacious body cavity coelom is present in between the alimentary canal and the body wall. And in the coelom, it contains coelomic fluid. And the coelom possesses the coelomic fluid which serves as the hydrostatic skeleton. Coelomic fluid consists of coelomocytes. Coelomocytes play a major role in regeneration, immunity and wound healing. And the coelomic fluid of the earthworm is milky and alkaline. It consists of granulocytes or eliocytes, amoebocytes, mucocytes and leukocytes. It has dorsal blood vessel and the ventral blood vessel. Below that it has the ventral nerve cord. This is the alimentary canal wall. This is the diprosole of the alimentary canal. The locomotion of the earthworm is assisted by the muscles, setae and the buccal chamber. It is brought about by the contraction and relaxation of the muscular body wall and aided by the turgence of the coelomic fluid. The coelomic fluid will be pushed to one region to cause a pressure over that region, and it acts as the hydrostatic. The alternate waves of the extensions and the contraction are aided by the buccal chamber and the setae. This tabulation shows the variation between the Lampito mauritii earthworm and Metaphyre postuma. They vary in their size, shape, coloration, segmentation, clitellum. They differ in various ways and the organs of the different segments, so we have to learn it. The digestive system of the earthworm consists of the alimentary canal and the digestive glands. The alimentary canal runs straight throughout the length of the body from the mouth to the anus. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity. The buccal cavity is present in the first and the second segment of the body. And this buccal cavity opens into the thick muscular pharynx. And pharynx present in the third and the fourth segment of the body. And this pharynx is surrounded by the pharyngeal glands or the salivary glands. And the pharynx will lead to the small narrow tube which is called esophagus, and esophagus lies in the fifth segment alone. And it will continue down to the sixth segment as the muscular gizzard. And this gizzard will help in grinding the soil particles with the decaying leaf. The intestine starts from the seventh segment and it will continue till the last segment. The dorsal wall of the intestine is folded into a cavity called diprosole, and this diprosole will accommodate the blood vessels, and this will increase the absorptive area of the intestine. This fold will increase the absorptive area of the intestine. The inner epithelium of the intestine consists of columnar cells and the glandular cells, and the alimentary canal opens to the exterior through the anus in the last segment. The ingested organic substances will pass through the digestive tract and it will be broken down by the digestive enzymes into small absorbable units. And these simpler molecules are absorbed through the intestinal membrane and they are utilized for the body activities. And the undigested food particles along with the soil is passed out through the anus, and this is called as worm casting or the vermicast. The salivary glands or the pharyngeal glands will secrete the digestive enzymes that will digest the food. The Metaphyre postuma, in the 26th segment, it has a special structure which is called the intestinal CK, and this CK will secrete the amylolytic enzymes for the digestion of the starch, and this is absent. This intestinal CK are absent in many of the species of earthworm including Lampito mauritii. Respiration in earthworm takes place through the body wall. It has no special organs like lungs or gills. It takes place only through the body wall. The outer surface of the skin is richly supplied with the blood vessel that will aid in the diffusion of the gas. Oxygen diffuses through the skin into the blood vessels, while the carbon dioxide from the blood will diffuse out. The skin is kept moist always by the mucus and the coelomic fluid, and this will facilitate the exchange of gases. Earthworm circulatory system. Lampito mauritii has a closed type of blood vascular system which consists of blood vessels, capillaries and the lateral hearts. There are two median longitudinal blood vessels. So one dorsal and another one ventral. They run above and below the alimentary canal and they are respectively called as dorsal blood vessel and the ventral blood vessel. They have paired valves in the dorsal vessels which will prevent the backward flow of the blood, and the ventral vessels will not possess any valve. There is no valve in the ventral vessel and it is non-contractile also, whereas the dorsal vessel is contractile, and ventral vessel will allow the backward flow of the blood. In the anterior part of the body, the dorsal vessel is connected to the ventral vessel by 8 pairs of commissural vessels. These are the commissural vessels and they are otherwise called as lateral hearts. They lie from the segments numbering 6th to 13th segment. These commissural vessels, these commissural blood vessels or the lateral hearts which run on either side of the alimentary canal will pump the blood from the dorsal vessel to the ventral vessel. So the dorsal vessel will receive the blood from the various organs, whereas the ventral vessels will supply the blood to the various organs. The blood glands are present in the anterior segments of the earthworm. So they will have the blood glands, and these blood glands will produce the blood cells and the hemoglobin, which is dissolved in the plasma that gives the red color to the blood. Now let us learn the next system of the earthworm, that is nervous system. Nervous system consists of a bilobed mass of nervous tissue. So this yellow color tissue is representing the nervous system. It has a bilobed mass of nervous tissue which is called a suprapharyngeal ganglia that lies on the dorsal wall of the pharynx, and it presents in the third segment of the body, and it is referred to as the brain. And below this pharynx it has the subpharyngeal ganglion which is lying in the fourth segment of the body. This subpharyngeal ganglion and the suprapharyngeal ganglion are connected by circumpharyngeal connective nervous tissue, and they run on each side of this pharynx and form a ring-like structure around the pharynx region in the anterior end of the body. This is called as nerve ring. The double ventral nerve cord will run backwards. Double ventral nerve cord runs backward from the subpharyngeal ganglion. The brain, along with other nerves, will integrate the regions which are responsible for the sensory input and give the command to the muscular responses of the body. And earthworms have many receptor organs, and they are stimulated by a group of slender columnar cells, and these cells are connected to the nerves. They have the photoreceptors for the sense of light which lies on the dorsal surface of the body. They have the gustatory receptors for sense of taste, olfactory receptors for the sense of smell. These two lie in the buccal cavity. Then they have the tactile receptors which is for the sense of touch, chemoreceptor to detect the chemical changes in the surrounding, thermoreceptors to check the changes in the temperature. They are all present in the prostomium region as well as all over their body wall. Next we shall see the excretory system of the earthworm. Excretion is the process of elimination of metabolic waste from the body, and in the earthworm it happens through the nephridia. So nephridia are segmentally arranged. They are the minute coiled paired tubules which are present in the segments. There are three types of nephridia present in the earthworm's body. They are the pharyngeal or the tufted nephridia. Secondly, micronephridia or the integumentary nephridia, and thirdly, meganephridia or the septal nephridia. We can see the three types of nephridia in this diagram. This is the pharyngeal nephridia, micronephridia and the meganephridia. The pharyngeal or the tufted nephridia, it is present in pairs in the segments numbering from 5 to 9. They are seen as the paired tufts in the segments of 5 to 9. Secondly, the micronephridia or the integumentary nephridia, they are attached to the lining of the body wall. It starts from the 14th segment to the last segment, and it opens to the exterior on the body surface itself. The third type of nephridia, meganephridia, they are present in pairs on both the sides of the intersegmental septa of the body from the 19th segment till the last segment, and they open into the intestine. They leave out their excretion, the metabolic waste, into the intestine. From there it is eliminated out. The meganephridia has an internal funnel-like opening which is called as nephrostome. This is the nephrostome, and this is fully ciliated. This nephrostome will be lying in the preceding segment, whereas the other segments, the rest of the structure will be lying in the succeeding segments. So it has got actually three distinct regions. One is the ciliated region, secondly glandular, and the muscular region. The waste material will be collected by the ciliated funnel, and it will be pushed to the muscular part of the nephridium. Then it will be passed on to the glandular structure, glandular part. This glandular part will extract the waste from the blood directly, and finally the waste will exit into the posterior part of the intestine through the nephridiophore. From there it will be eliminated out through the anus. Besides this nephridia, they also have special type of cells which are present in the coelomic wall of the intestine, which are called as chlorogagan cells. And these cells will extract the nitrogenous waste from the blood of the intestinal wall, and they will be sent into the body cavity. And from there the nephridia will be collecting, and they will be leaving out to the exterior of the body. Regeneration in earthworm. Up to 20th segment, the earthworm has all the important organs. So when there is a cut after the 20th segment, the anterior half of the body can regenerate the posterior half, whereas the posterior half cannot regenerate the anterior half, and it will disintegrate after some time. Now let us see the reproductive system of earthworm. Earthworms are hermaphrodite, that means monoecious. Both the male and the female organs are found in the same individual. But self-fertilization is not possible because they are protandrous. That means the sperm will develop earlier than the ovum. And so the two sex organs mature at different times, so self-fertilization is not possible. They go for only cross-fertilization can take place. The male reproductive system consists of two pairs of testes. And they are present. These are the two pairs of testes, and they give rise to the germ cells or the spermatogonia. From the spermatogonia develops the spermatozoa, and they are present in the two pairs of seminal vesicles. Two pairs of seminal funnel or the ciliary rosette. These two are the seminal funnel or the ciliary rosette. They are also present, situated in the same segment as the testis, near to that, to collect the mature spermatozoa. The ciliated funnel will join together. The ciliated funnels of the same side are connected together to form a long tube-like structure which is called as vas deferens. And this vas deferens runs up to the 18th segment, where they open through a male genital aperture to the exterior. The male genital aperture contains two pairs of pineal setae, and this pineal setae will help for the copulation. This is the pineal setae, which is isolated from the body of the earthworm. The prostate gland is present in the 19th segment. A pair of prostate gland present in the 19th segment. Secretion of the prostate gland will help to cement the spermatozoa together into bundles which are called as spermatophores. Female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries which lies in the 13th segment. So this blue color structure is the ovary which lies in the 13th segment. And each ovary has a finger-like projections, and they contain ova in linear series. These ovarian funnels are present beneath these ovaries, and they will collect the mature ovum from the ovaries, and they continue down as the oviduct. These two oviducts will join together, and they open on the ventral side as a single median female genital pore, which lies in the 14th segment of the body. Now let us see the spermathecal openings. Spermatheca or the seminal receptacles are present in the 7th, 8th and the 9th segment. They are also paired organs. They are lying in pairs. They open to the exterior on the ventral side between the 6th and the 7th segment, 7th and the 8th segment, and 8th and the 9th segment. These spermatheca or the seminal receptacle will receive the spermatozoa from the partner during the copulation time. A mutual exchange of the sperms occur during the mating of two worms, and they mate in a juxtaposed, that is opposite to each other. The gonadal openings will be opposite to each other, and they exchange the sperms. Once the egg cells mature, they mix with the nutritive fluid and they are deposited in the cocoon, and the clitoral region will detach itself from the body wall, and it will propel towards the anterior end of the body, collecting the eggs first, and after which it will collect the sperms from the seminal receptacle of the same organism which was collected during the copulation, and they will detach itself from the body and they form the cocoon. And these cocoons are deposited in the soil. After 2 to 3 weeks, these cocoons will produce the baby earthworm. The development is direct, and there is no larval stage in the life cycle of the earthworm. Lampito mouritii begins its life cycle from the fertilized egg. Inside the cocoon, the egg gets fertilized, and the incubation period of this fertilized egg is about 14 to 18 days. After which they will hatch out the juvenile earthworms. The juvenile earthworms will not possess the clitellum, they are non-clitellate, and this is the phase 1 of their life cycle. After 15 days they develop the clitellum and get into the second phase, which is called clitellate phase. Another 2 days, 15th to 16th days, they will complete their growth of the clitellum. During the reproductive stage, the earthworm will copulate, and again they will shed their cocoon in the soil. After 10 days they will die off. This is the life cycle of the Lampito mauritii. It will take about 60 days to complete. Now the economic importance of earthworm. Earthworms are considered as the farmer's friend because they enrich the soil with their worm casts. By their burrowing movement, they make the soil porous, which helps the roots to respire and penetrate into the soil. The vermiculture, vermicomposting, vermiwash or vermery are the interlinked or interdependent processes, and they are collectively called as vermitech. Vermiculture is nothing but the artificial rearing or the cultivation of the earthworm, which involves a new technique for the betterment of the human beings, and this is called as vermiculture. And Lampito mauritii helps in the recycling of the dead and decayed plant material by feeding on them. The process of producing compost using earthworm is called as vermicomposting. And vermiwash is a liquid manure or the plant tonic which is obtained from the earthworm. It is obtained by washing the earthworm's body, used as a foliar spray, and will induce the plant growth. The collection of the excretory product, mucus secretion of the earthworm along with the micronutrients forms the soil organic molecules. Earthworms can be used for recycling the waste food, leaf, litter, biomass to prepare the good fertilizer, and this is what is called as wormery or ombin. Earthworms helps to make a superior compost than the conventional compost. Earthworms are also used as bait in fishing.